Hello, I am MD Rakibullah. Today I will be presenting my global workspace and leadership analysis based on Samsung Electronics Co. Limited to examine how globalization, culture, and leadership structure works across three different nationalities like South Korea, the United States, and Vietnam. Organizational overview. Samsung Electronics is one of the world's largest multinational technology companies operating across semiconductor, consumer electronics, mobile phone, and digital technologies. The company is headquartered located in South Korea, where its core strategies and leadership and governance functions are made. And at the same time, Samsung operates extensive global networks for innovation, production, and distribution. Due to its scale and geographic spread, Samsung provides a strong example of how global organizations manage leadership and work across diverse economic and cultural environments. Uh, Global contexts. First, I want to talk about South Korea, which hosts Samsung headquarters and plays a central role in long-term strategy and decision-making. Secondly, the United States, where Samsung concentrates on innovation, research and development, and market competitions. And third, the Vietnam, which is one of Samsung's key global manufacturing hubs, supporting large-scale production and operational efficiency. And globalization and work structure. Globalization has fundamentally reshaped Samsung's organizational structure. Rather than operating as a purely national firm, Samsung now functions as a globally networked organization. As a result, leadership roles are no longer uniform across locations but are differentiated by geography and functions, and strategic authority and long-term planning remain highly centralized at headquarters in South Korea, where operational and market-oriented leadership roles are distributed internationally. Also, the reflects the shift described in the WorkScape framework from hierarchical organizations to network based on coordination enabled by digital technologies. Global value chain. Samsung's global value chain clearly illustrates how globalization shapes in the division of labor. High value activities such as strategic planning, advanced research, and corporate governance are concentrated in South Korea and partly in the United States. And in contrast, labor intensive manufacturing and assembly activities are located in Vietnam, where Samsung benefits from cost efficiency, skilled labor, and supportive industrial policies. This structure creates an unequal distribution of power and decisions, making authority requiring leaders to manage complex global coordination rather than the local teams alone. Globalization challenges. Samsung's global structure also creates several leadership tensions, like this include balancing cost efficiency with innovation, maintaining centralized control while allowing local responsiveness, global corporate standards with national regulations. Managing these tensions requires adaptive leadership rather than rigid organizational models, highlighted the strategic complexity of global structures. Cultural and leadership framework. To analyze cultural differences, I apply Hofstede cultural dimensions, focusing mainly on power distance, individualism versus collectivism, and communication styles. Importantly, this framework is used as an analytical tool rather than a stereotype because it helps explain patterns in leadership behavior and organizational expectations across different contexts. Cultural comparison. In South Korea, culture is characterized by high power distance and low power collectivism. Leadership tends to be hierarchical with strong respect for seniority and authority, and at the same time, in terms of United States, we see the opposite one. Here, in United States, culture is generally low power distance and highly individualistic because employees expect participative leadership, autonomy, and open communication. Uh, and in terms of Vietnam, which is similar to South Korea, their power distance is also high, and collectivist values remain important. Leadership in Vietnam, leadership is typically directive and structured, and particularly in operational settings such as manufacturing. This differences significantly influence how leadership is enacted within Samsung. Cultural and organizational behavior. Cultural assumptions shape organizational behavior in several ways. Authority is more centralized in South Korea and Vietnam, while it is more distributed in the United States. Communication styles range from indirect and relationship oriented to direct and explicit. Decision-making process also difference in three different nationalities with top-down approaches in high power distance context and participative approaches in low power distance environments. These cultural dynamics directly affect leadership effectiveness and employee engagement. And and comparative leadership practices. Leadership practices as Samsung vary significantly across contexts. In South Korea, leadership is typically directive and long-term oriented and supporting strategic consistency and organizational discipline. But in the United States, leadership tends to be transformational and participative because encouraging innovation and individual initiative. But in Vietnam, leadership is more task-focused and efficiency-driven, supporting large-scale manufacturing and workforce coordination. And each approach reflects local economic and cultural conditions. Thank you.